morning and welcome to day 9 of Sloth Yoga. Today we are standing. We are starting today at the top of your mat. You could do this standing on your bed, but you might have a little bit of the wobbles, so I would take it to the floor. I'll show you the variation in this one first, because you can also do this on your knees. So whatever we're doing standing, it can be done on your knees. Here's the first position. If you're going to be on your knees, both knees are facing forwards for the first position. For the second position, your left knee is turning behind your back, but your right knee is still staying in the first position facing forwards. Your chest is facing towards your left knee, so away from your left knee. That's your second position. Your third position, your knees can be together and you can go down into cat-cows. That's when we're doing the one facing forwards. Then your next position, your left leg comes up and faces to the left. Your body is still facing forwards to your right leg, which is behind you. Then we're going to turn everything to the bottom of your mat, still on your knees. Okay? So that's if you don't want to do this standing. However, the standing version. Standing at the top of your mat. Feet can be together or just about hip width apart. Hands in prayer, hands at your chest. Going to take a deep breath in. Circle your arms around and back down to your chest. And again, breathing in. As it circles round, breathe out as you bring your hands down your chest. We're going to reverse that. Breathing in. Arms go up, circle round, and back down to your chest as you breathe out. Breathing in, circle round and back up to your chest as you breathe out. Take your left leg and step it back behind you. Both of your feet are still facing forwards. We haven't turned that back foot out at the moment. We're both facing forwards. Your right knee, if you're used to doing this, you can go sort of right down and pushing your hips down and all of that, but that's not really what we're aiming for at the moment. So your right knee is bent, left leg is straight, but it can have a slight bend in it as well. Try not to lean too far forward here. Try to stack your torso over your hips. Hands are prayer hands. Doesn't matter if your back foot doesn't reach down to the floor, your back heel. Doesn't matter about that. As long as your knee is not over your toes at the front. Hands in prayer hands. Breathing in. Circle them round outside. As you breathe out, bring it down to your chest. Breathing in, circle it round, back down to your chest. Reverse, breathing in, hands up, circle it round, bring it back up to your chest as you breathe out. Breathing in, arms up, circle it round, bring it back to your chest as you breathe out. Then we're going to turn this back foot. So it turns to the edge of your mat. Your right leg is still staying bent in exactly the same position, but your left foot is turning out to the mat. Your chest is also turning with that foot. So you're now facing the side of your mat. Hands in prayer hands. Again, breathing in, hands come down as you breathe out, back to your chest. Breathing in, circle it round, back to your chest. Reversing it. Breathing in, arms go up, circle round, back to your chest. Breathing in, circling up and round, back to your chest. Change that right foot. You're now facing with both feet to the side of the mat. Your feet are now more than hip width apart. Stack everything up. So imagine that line throughout your body, throughout your head, pulling everything up to the sky. Arms out to the side for the moment. Bring your hands into prayer hands at your chest. Breathing in, take your hands down, circle them round, down, front of your face, back to your chest as you breathe out. Breathing in, circle it round, back down to your chest. Reverse that motion. Breathing in, take your hands up, circle them round, back up to your chest. And again, breathing in As you breathe out, circle around and back up. Have your hands on your hips. At this point, we're going to do a little forward fold. This is where if you're on your knees, you can do your cat-cows. So pushing your hips backwards as your flat back leans forwards. Try not to lock your knees. You can have a bend in your knees. You can bend them as much as you want to at this point. It's fine. So keeping your chin up, flat back. You can see I've got a flat back. You get a little stretch, or you might get a big stretch in your calves, hamstrings as well. Just breathe it here for a few rounds. If you feel like this is too much, you can bend all the way down, you can bend your knees, you can rest your hands on the floor. It's up to you. Bend your knees to raise. So bend them and tuck your belly button to your spine to raise up from that one, just to protect your spine a little bit. Returning your left foot to face what was now the back of the mat. So the left foot turns and it bends. If you find that knee tipping forwards over those toes, shuffle your toes forwards. Okay, so you've got that little bend in the front. Your right foot is now facing what was the front side edge of your mat. Gets complicated. Hands in prayer hands. You're facing the side of your mat. Breathing in, drop your hands down, circle them round. As you breathe out, bring it down your chest. And again, breathing in, circle it round, bring them back. Reverse that motion, breathing in, breathing out as you bring it back to your chest. And again, arms up, circling round and back to your chest. Fabulous. Take this right foot and turn it all the way to the back of the mat. Front knee is still bent. You can bend that back knee a little bit if you want to as well, but don't lean forwards. Remember, stack if you can. Hands in front of your chest. Breathing in, dropping them down, circling them round as you breathe out and bring it back. Breathing in, circling round and back. Reverse that motion. Taking your hands high, circling them round, bringing it back to your chest. And again, up, circling round and back to your chest. Turn everything to the side of the mat. So both feet are now facing the side of the mat. You can do that little forward fold again. Breathing in, on the out breath, push those hips backwards. So your back stays flat, your chin stays up, you're looking forwards. You can bend your knees if you need to. Cat-cows if you're on your knees already. Good, we're going to flop all the way down. And have a little dangle. You can generously bend your knees here if you need to. Just having a little dangle down to the floor. And we're just going to sweep side to side. This is where the bent knees come in handy. Try not to do this with straight legs. And just sweeping side to side. Good. Plant your hands firmly on the floor and tuck your knees under. We are now in the cat-cow position. Some of you may be there already. I'm just going to turn sideways because this is where my mat is facing. I'm going to sit that bottom back. I'm going to open my knees for my little sloth belly. And toes are not together this time. Toes are parallel to the mat. And we're going to try and sit back in that position. That might be too much for some of your hips. If that is too much, then you can bring your knees in. You can have your toes together. You can be sitting on your legs, whatever you want to do. Reaching forwards with your hands to get a nice little stretch. Forehead on the floor if you can. Then walking your hands back in, scootling your knees, it's a word, scootling your knees back in together to sitting back on your heels. I'll face forwards. So everything's tucked underneath you. You're sitting on your heels and knees are together. Hands are just placed on your knees. Bring your hands in prayer hands. Breathing in, take your hands up to the sky. And circle them back around and back up to your chest as you breathe out. And again, take them up, circling them round and back up to your chest. Reverse that motion, taking them down, circling round and back. One more, bring it round, circling and back. Bow your chin. As you bow, let your thumbs rest on your forehead, on your third eye. And join me as we say together, Namaste.